Na vida, todo mundo erra. E aqui, todo mundo aprende com seus erros. Danny, tell me another.
So my story today also happened to me, and I will call it the salt story. So I was living in Austria during like a time of my life, and I was learning German. Right? And Sal, our dearest seasoning part of life, right? Um, it's called salt and salt, salt in German. And I was really into the German culture, so I was saying Salz all the time, Salt, Salt. And there came a time that I was in a table with other native speaking, all for English, of course. And then I needed salt, and I was like, "Hey, man, could you pass me the salt, please?" Salt, Danny, what is salt? Like salt, salt. You put salt like in the fries and everything. Like salt, Danny. I don't know what is salt. You mean salt, right? Like no, I mean salt, salt. And then like I was discussing it very hard-minded. Like no, this is salt, this is salt. And then we had to go to Google and like search like salt meaning. And then that voice of Google was like salt, salt, and I was okay, So there are some words,
You
that
win.
yeah, yeah, and there are some words, that because they look alike, the words in Portuguese, we try to make the sound as they are in Portuguese, So, for example,
Yeah.
the word Rio, we say real, right, in Portuguese. Real can be a
Yeah.
little bit confusing.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to understand that these little changes in pronunciation are sometimes enough to cause misunderstanding and to cause like failure in communication because especially native speakers, if they are not accustomed to these sounds, these might sound like nothing to them, like for
Yes.
us these might sound very close, but for them, like it might not make any sense at all, right?
Yes.
And what exactly is the pronunciation issue going on with salt?
So actually, is a problem that we face in other words as well, because al sometimes, actually most times, will have the sound of oh, oh. So I have a lot of students who say, "I am talking to a native," or "I need chalk in my board," but actually it's oh. So salt, talk, and chalk. So like that's the
Talking é
idea.
igual talquinho, né? Preciso de talquinho.
Yes, yes. And if you talk to a native, sometimes you say, "Hey, man, I need to talk to you." They will understand, but it'll take a while, to see. Oh, you mean talk? Of course we can talk.
Yeah. They
And
might
like,
not understand actually. Students complain a lot about native speakers that they don't really make an effort to try to understand us, but there is no effort to be made because like they don't know what we want to say, what we mean, and sometimes for them these sounds are just I don't know, like nonsense sounds, like so we have to make an effort to improve our communication skills, not them. That's the truth.
yeah. So if not, you'll be like Bruno Mars and sitting by yourself, talking to the moon, talking to the
So,
moon. So, like, one little detail I'd like to point out is that there is one verb that is take and the other is talk. And some students make the mistake of the pronunciation of take and talk, but they are totally different. Okay, so take, talk, take,
mhm.
talk. And if we put them in the past tense, they are even more different, right? So we have and talked, took and talked. Okay, so what I'm telling you today is that take and talk are not the same thing, and it's salt, not salt. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Very good. Seu vídeo deu umas travadas hoje. Agora eu não sei se é a minha internet de novo que tá cagada. Ah, é engraçado que o seu áudio tá perfeito, mas tem hora que, a imagem para. O áudio continua normal, mas dá uma travada na imagem, aí ela volta normal. Então,
Sim.
I don't know.
Então, no começo eu dei uma travada na sua imagem e na fala, mas depois voltou normal. Então, tá aí.
Ah, é?
Por isso que eu até perguntei, você tá me ouvindo? Tá me ouvindo? Aí você falou, no lugar certo. Tá. Mas aí. Mas se o som não tá comprometido, já fica mais
A
tranquilo.
prioridade é o som, né? Ok,
Bora lá.
vamos lá.
No 6, vamos deve ter 6, vamos começar.
É bom, né? Que aí a gente tem uma referência. Né? Esse ficou bom de tempo, né? Ficou uns 5 minutos. Né?
Bora lá. Na vida, todo mundo erra. Aqui, todo mundo aprende com seus erros. Fábio, tell me another.
Hey, well, today I have an interesting, funny story to share with you. Luckily, it didn't happen to me, but a friend of mine once went to the USA and she didn't speak any English at all. But most Brazilian people, she thought that it would be okay. And then one day she went to an outlet mall and she was walking around shopping, and suddenly she felt like going to a place she couldn't remember the name, banheiro. You know, she couldn't really remember this simple word, and she really needed to go there. You know.
Yeah.
So she walked around, but it was a huge place. So she couldn't find it. So, in the end, she met someone and she started trying to communicate with that person. But since she didn't speak any English, she started to use gestures and like miming, you know, and they couldn't understand. She tried um, crouching, you know, to pretend she was sitting on a toilet, you
Okay,
know,
okay.
and she was like, and like doing this with her arms, and then the guy looked at her and said, okay, chicken, you want to eat chicken? And she was like, no. So,
Nothing goes in. It
eventually,
needs to go out, right? Not in, but out. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So she started like making some sounds, like shh, shh, and eventually they got what she meant, you know.
Yeah.
And she went to banheiro, right? But that's like interesting, I think, you know, because that's a difficult word, right?
To be honest, even to native speakers, sometimes when they travel and they look at the sign, they're like, is this the place I'm supposed to go? No, because I heard there are many ways to say banheiro in English, right?
Exactly, yeah. And probably those of you who are listening to us might think that's so easy. Banheiro is bathroom. Everybody knows that. I learned that in my very first English class, you know, something like that. And it turns out that bathroom is just one of the terms we could use to refer to a place that in Portuguese we would generally call banheiro. But bathroom is generally the bathroom we have at home, because bath comes from a bathtub. So it's generally a room where there is a bathtub, uma banheira, or a shower. So it's a place where you can have a shower. But in a shopping mall, which is her case, she wouldn't find a bathroom, at least not for her. Maybe for the employees, I don't know, you know why. But for her, she would be looking either for a toilet or a restroom. These two words, like toilet is generally more used in British English, and restroom is more common in American English. And it refers to a room where you would find a toilet, que é uma privada, right? And maybe a sink so you can wash your hands, but no shower and no bathtub, right? And in Canada, for example, they would actually call these room washroom, so
Nice.
it's not that simple, like it can actually be hard to find the right room depending on where you are and what exactly you were looking for, right?
Yeah, no. So, guys, don't mime. Okay, so you can ask like, "Where's the place?" Because you can always do like number one, number two. That works as well. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
so
But the message is do not mime, do English classes.
yes, and that's all for
Thanks,
today.
guys. Take care. Bye. Muito bem. Very good.
Chegamos ao
Até que
número
funcionou.
perfeito. Yeah, chegamos ao número
Ó,
perfeito.
é,